No question strikes more fear in the hearts and minds of freelancers than this from a potential client. Do you have any samples that you can share?
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Well, in this video, I want to share a simple 5-step process that you can use to turn a sample request into a painless, easy, and even fun thing that makes it way more likely for you to sign the deal. And I actually want to walk you through the process of creating a custom sample for a potential client in real time. So let's throw a timer up in the corner and see how fast we can get this sample done. So before I pop on over to my computer, I wanted to just set some context for what I'm about to do. Whenever I get asked to create a sample for a client, I always create a custom one on the spot because I don't like to leave things to chance by sending them things that I've already written for other people. I want them to see that I can write in the exact tone and style that they like to write in so that they see my stuff and they're like, oh my gosh, this person totally gets me. So this is really cool because even if you are someone who doesn't have any samples to your name, you can go through the same process and actually create a custom sample on the spot, even if you had nothing to start from. Or if you're someone who has a lot of samples and you're like, which one should I pick? Well, this process can work for you because you'll be able to create one really quickly. That's going to be in the exact tone and style that your clients like, and it's going to work like crazy when you do. So just want to set that context before we dive right in. Okay, so I popped on over to my computer, and for the purposes of this experiment, I wanted to choose a company I've seen blowing up recently. It's called Magic Spoon. They sell a healthy, keto-friendly alternative to cereal, and I've seen them everywhere recently, so I thought they'd be a great brand to start with. And I like to first head on over to their website to get a sense of the kind of copy and the visuals that they're already using, because when I send a sample across to a client, I never like to send them just a blank text document. I like to make my sample stand out and instantly signal to them, hey, this guy actually gets our brand. He totally gets our vibe. We totally want to work with him. So you can kind of get a sense of the visuals that they're using on their website. They're playful. They have cereal loops kind of floating everywhere. They use lots of bold, bright colors and things like that. But since we're actually going to be sending them a sample email, we also need to see what kind of emails they're currently sending. Here's an example email that I recently got from them. You can kind of see how they're using different elements of this background, these boxes, these buttons here. And a lot of copywriters, when they see something like this, they're like, okay, well, I just need to model the text. But I like to take it one step further and actually make my samples look exactly like the emails they're sending. And here's how we do that. So let me pop on over to a Google document here, and we can kind of play with these elements. So the first thing we're going to do once we see that as their sample is we're going to insert a 1-by-1 table, because we can actually build some of these elements that they're using in their email in our Google Doc. And here's how we do that. So first thing I do is I use a cool Chrome extension called Color Picker Eyedropper, and we can actually grab this color here right off the page. And so what I'll do is I'll actually edit the background color of this table that we've created so that it has that exact color that they're using. Now we move that down. And the other big thing we are kind of looking for here is this font. So this is actually hyperlinked text, so I can't see what font they're using there. But if we head on over to their website and we hit Command-Shift-C on a Mac, I'm not sure what that is for you guys on a PC, we can actually see the font that they're currently using. So you can see it's in 36-point Mabry. I'm not super technical when it comes to these design elements. All I know is I like to just model this in the samples that I send across. So let's see if there is that option inside of Google Docs, if we can find that. So if there is a Mabry font available, so it looks like that's not an option inside of the Google Docs. So we just need to see what that's similar to. And it says that Archivo semi-bold is most similar to this Mabry font. So when we're in our Google document, what we need to do is actually insert the font in Archivo semi-bold, and we can actually start to model some of these elements of text. So it says looking for inspiration. So we can grab this to say looking for inspiration, move this across here, center it on the page, and you can see how it's starting to come together a little bit. Now, the next thing we need to do is actually edit the color of these fonts to actually make it look a little bit more similar to the one we were using. So let's use that Color Picker Eyedropper again to grab that color for our fonts. We'll edit these two fonts to be that exact color. We just need to hit Custom, paste that font there, and you can kind of see how it's starting to come together. And so these are actually images here, so we can actually grab these straight out of the email that they sent to copy and paste into our Google Doc. So the only a couple more things that we need to do to really start to make this look like that same example here is to place a couple more lines of text and also nail this button here. So we can do the button in the exact same way that we built this table here. We're going to go to table, insert a 1x1 table row here, and we're going to condense the margins a little bit. And the copy on this said create your own. So create your own, and we'll center this. We'll also make it white, just like we had in the other example. And the background of this one is actually that purple color that we were using. We can make this a little bit bigger, give it a little bit more depth. And so let's just kind of grab this last little bit of text. And so what we've done is taken the exact style of email that they currently send to their list and created a template inside of our Google Docs that we can then customize some of the copy in so that it instantly signals to the client, even when they just pop into this, hey, this person is a student of our brand, and they know exactly what we're going for in the types of emails that they send across. So I like to start with the visual elements to build a nice base, because that's going to be the thing that your client instantly sees when they come into the Google document. But obviously we wouldn't just send them back an example of copy that they're already using. We need to actually tailor it to them and actually take our own pass at it. So what I like to do is actually head back on over to their website and take a look at their About Us page, because I find that you can actually get a lot of knowledge about the brand, not only about their backstory, but some of the elements of their tone and style just start to bleed through in this section of the page. So I won't actually read this full thing out loud to you, but I took a look at it for this brand and I noticed that they are really kind of quirky. They lean into some elements of science, and the brand is big on nostalgia, meaning they're kind of talking about how as kids we used to love cereal, and today we don't necessarily get to eat this thing because it's so unhealthy, but with their brand you actually can. So that's important because this is kind of forming a little style guide for you. You know that your copy needs to sound quirky, sciencey, and nostalgic when you actually write a custom sample to them. So here's how I would go about that. Let's pop back over to our Google document, and we'll take our template as a basis for the email that we're going to write. So I'm just going to copy and paste this down here. And I'm going to pretend to be writing a welcome email to this brand. So we're going to start things out by saying, welcome to Magic Spoon. Get ready for a flavor explosion. They were kind of fun and cheeky in their copy, so I'm willing to lean into that. And they're also really big on some visual elements, but I don't want to use those boxes that they'd already sent across. I want to head back on over to their website and see if there's some elements that we might be able to grab, like this bowl here, that we can actually copy and paste straight into our Google document. So I'm going to paste this here at the top of the email because I think it's a really cool visual element. And you can actually crop it around the sides here to make it a little tighter. So we need to write some copy that is going to introduce someone to this brand and maybe give them a little discount on their first order. So I won't actually make you guys watch me type all this, but here's what I came up with. Remember how awesome it was to eat cereal and watch Saturday morning cartoons as a kid? Well, what if I told you you could have those same cereal flavors with none of the guilt? At Magic Spoon, we swapped the usual junk out for high protein, low carb, keto friendly ingredients, all without sacrificing taste, with only 4 net carbs, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 140 calories, and nothing artificial. You really need to try this stuff. Get yours today and save $10 on your first order. And let's do something kind of creative with the button there. Maybe say something like, come on, you want to try it. And so this is not perfect copy by any means, but notice what we've done here. We have used the exact format that they're already using their emails. We're using the same fonts that they are. And I think we hit on those core elements on the tone and style of things that they are really looking for in their copy. It has a touch of quirkiness. It is a bit nostalgic, talking about childhood, and it also has a sciencey element kind of baked into the copy here. And so by doing things in this order and choosing some of those visual elements that will instantly signal to your clients that you know what you're talking about, and then really nailing that style and tone just by taking a quick look at the About Us page, you put yourself in a totally different category of freelancer than the kind of person who's just going to be sitting there sending plain text documents forever. I've actually sent across samples to a client, and because of some of the things that I do inside of my Google documents, sometimes they believe that I've actually had this page designed for them. And that's the kind of effect that you want to have. You want to blow your client's mind when they ask for a sample, and this is the ultimate way to do that. So If you guys like this video and if you guys like kind of seeing behind the scenes of how I create this sample, make sure you actually drop it a like and subscribe to the channel. I actually created a full blog post on how to do this in a more step-by-step detail, and I'll link that down below so you guys can take a look at it. But this is how I think about samples, and this is how you can quickly create samples, whether or not you have, a big portfolio to lean on, or maybe you have no samples to your name. So drop me a comment down below with your biggest takeaway. I respond to all of them within the first 24 hours of this coming out, and I love seeing you guys' biggest takeaways. So see you in the next video.